Hello and welcome, or welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you some more spring and Easter DIYs that I think you're really going to enjoy. And I'm also going to share with you how to turn some of these pipe cleaners into some beautiful spring flowers. So if you want to know how to make them, stick around. I'll show you how. Thank y'all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. All right, Maxwell? Okay, I'm going to start with a pattern I've given you in the description below, and then some regular foam board, and this is almost a ½ inch thick. And you're going to lay your pattern onto the foam board, take a pencil, and then just trace over it and add pressure, because what we're trying to do is get the indent on this. So just go right over this, draw it out. If you don't get it exactly perfect, don't worry about it. You can straighten it up once we remove it and we draw our next line. Just go all the way around it with your pencil, trying to create a groove in the foam core board. Okay, then remove your paper and then stand it up a little bit. You can see the indent if you hold it up, and then just draw your pattern on it. You could cut the whole thing out and just trace around it, but this was the easier way to get the pattern pretty much perfect. Okay, next we're going to cut this out with an X-Acto knife. Just take your knife and kind of trace over the picture, kind of adding pressure. You're not going to go through the whole thing yet. You're just going to probably go about 2/3 of the way through it, and then we'll have to finish it out here in a minute. Just kind of take your time on this part, and you can get this pretty even. But try to keep your X-Acto knife standing straight up. You don't want to cut at a 90-degree angle. Next layer, you're just going to take your knife and you're just going to kind of saw with it, kind of poke it all the way through. You're going to go all the way through to the bottom layer. Just kind of take your time on this. It's kind of just like you're pushing it in and out of there all the way around until you get it straight. Just kind of take your time on this part, and then you'll cut all the way through to the next layer. You're just kind of making an up and down motion on this, just kind of sawing it. And you're holding it straight, not at an angle. Get completely cut out, we're going to start sanding it. And you're just going to take like a 220 grit sandpaper and just lightly go over it to get all the excess foam off of there. Next, we're going to take 2 1/4 inch by 6 inch dowel sticks and sharpen both ends. And I'm just sharpening mine with a pencil sharpener. And then I'm just going to push these up into the bottom so that the little duck will stand up. Just push them right into the styrofoam. It doesn't matter how far you push them in right now, because we are going to take them back out and glue them in later. Next, I'm going to paint my little duck and the little sticks. And I'm using a Folk Art matte light blue color. It's their number 402. So I'm taking a piece of wood that measures about 3/8 inch thick, and I'm going to cut it at 3 inches. And I'm cutting 2 of these because I'm going to make 2 of the little ducks. And then I'm going to offset them at the end. And then this piece of wood is about almost 5½ inches wide. I'm going to show you a handy tool for this project. This is a nail punch. It's definitely handy, and I'll show you how to use it here in a second. Now I'm going to take my wood and I'm going to turn it on its side. I'm putting wheels on this. These are just 1½ inch round circle wood. And I'm going to measure 1 1/4 inches from the end, and I'm going to mark it. And I'm going to do it from both sides on all 4 corners. And I'm also going to set my little duck up here, and I'm going to do 2 circles around both of the little dowel sticks so I could drill a hole for these 2. And those are 1/4 inch. You're going to brace your piece of wood against another piece of wood, and then we're going to take that nail setting punch, put it right in the center of that 1 1/4 inch mark, and hammer it in just a little bit. This way it makes a groove in there so that when you do take the drill bit, it won't move around. It'll stay right into that hole. And you're going to do that on all 4 corners. So I'm going to drill a pilot hole into each one of those spaces that I just did that nail punch in. And I'm going to start with a small pilot hole, and then I'm going to graduate up on my drill bits. You want to start small and then graduate up so you don't crack your wood. So I'm starting with my smallest drill bit, and then I'm going to move up until I get to the size of the dowel stick that I'm going to run through my wheels. Then I'm doing the same thing on the face of the piece of wood where I did the circles around my 1/4 inch dowel sticks. I'm going to start with a smaller drill bit and graduate up. Wheels, you're going to need 4 1.5-inch pieces of wood. And I'm just going to draw a circle in the center, take my nail punch and punch the center. Then I'm going to start with my smallest drill bit again and graduate up till I get to the size of the dowel stick that's going to go through this. And then once you get this one drilled to the right size, you can use it as a gauge to mark all the other ones exactly the same place. And then the last hole you drill will be the same size as the dowel stick that's going to go through it. And then you're just going to push that on in there. And these dowel sticks are about 3/16 of an inch, and I'm going to cut them off at 3/4 of an inch. And these actually came in a little box with some little wheels and stuff like that, but I'm not using the wheels because I only had 6, and I'm making 2 of these. I'm just going to hammer my little dowel stick right into the wheel till it's flush on the opposite side. And this is a pretty tight fit, so you don't really have to glue these. And you can buy wheels that are already made. Hobby Lobby sells them. Just get a dowel stick that will go through them. And to attach them to our base, we're just going to push them right into the side here, and then take your hammer and hammer them on in. And these are going to be pretty tight. You're not going to get these back out, so if you put these in here, don't worry about gluing them because they are not going to come back out. Once you get them all in, you can just turn your wheels until they are level. Just kind of spend a little bit of time playing with them a little bit just so you can make sure that you do get them level. And I'm painting them with that same blue paint that I painted the ducks with. And I'm going to paint the front, the back, the sides, the wheels, all of this. Painting my sticks the same color blue also. The paint's drying. I'm going to take some DOS air dry clay. It looks a little bit on the beige side, but once it dries solid white. And I'm just going to roll it out with a little rolling pin to about 1/4 of an inch thick. And I'm going to cut out 2 hearts that are about 1.5 inches each. Just kind of get it rolled out there about 1/4 of an inch, and then go ahead and cut your hearts out. And then once you get them cut out, you're going to take your finger and kind of rub the edges, kind of make them smooth around the edges. And then I'm going to take a straw to poke a hole in the center so I can hang these. Now, these take about 24 hours to dry. You want to let them dry about 12 hours, flip them over and let them dry another 12 hours. But just take a straw to make your hole, and then just set these aside to dry. And decide to come back in with a little embossing plate and kind of emboss them. I'm just pushing it down onto the hearts to give it a little bit of a texture. And you can get those on Amazon. I think that's where I got them. I'll have to find the link for those. Next, to smooth out the edges of my styrofoam, I'm just taking some Fast and Final spackling, my finger, and I'm just going to start filling in the little crevices. This will give it a nice smooth edge once you do this. Just try not to get it on the front or the back. And just kind of rub your finger on it till you got those holes all filled in. It didn't take that long to do, and then just let it dry overnight. And then we're going to come back in after this dries, sand it down just a little bit, and then paint it. Next, I'm just going to add some little polka dots. I'm just dipping my paintbrush, the tip of the bottom of it, into the paint, and then just dabbing it on here. Now, I've had this idea since a couple of years ago. I saw these on Pinterest for sale, and I saved it, but then I went back to look the other day because I was going to buy these, and the link was gone. So I decided to create these for y'all. So we're just going to take some hot glue and glue our sticks in. Next, I'm just going to push it through the holes of the little wagon. I'm push it all the way down till it's flush with the bottom. And I'm not going to glue these in either. These were really, really tight. And then I'm going to take the other ones and I'm going to cut about 1 inch off the bottom and then put those onto the other little wagon. To attach the hearts, I'm just taking some jute rope and I'm going to stagger these 2 hearts. So I'm going to have one that's a little bit shorter than the other one. So just run your jute through your heart, tie it off, and then we're going to tie a knot at the top to attach it. Okay, and I'm going to attach these with a ribbon I'm going to put around the duck's neck. So I'm going to double this up and then just cut this in half, and I'm going to tie a ribbon around the duck's neck, and then I'm going to attach those to that. So just go ahead and tie your knot on the top where they are staggered. You're going to trim the excess off at the top, tie that really tight, and then open up your knot there at the top, and then thread those on, and we're just going to tie this into a bow. And then take your knot, pull your rope over the top of it, and cover that up. But just a little bit of glue up there. So I'm giving you these in the description below. Just download them. That's a 2-inch punch. Just punch that out. And then we're going to take a little hole punch a hole in it. That's an 1/8 inch hole punch. I'm going to attach it with some baker's twine and some blue and white. Just going to tie it right around the top part. Okay, and these labels, they were printed on just some craft colored cardstock. Okay, then to decorate it up, I'm just going to attach a white bow right here. I just tied some ribbon into a bow, adding a white one, and then I'm going to come in and put a little blue and white polka dotted one over the top of that one. Then I'm layering a couple little paper flowers that I had, and I'm going to just glue it right onto the top part of my blue ribbon. To decorate the bottom part of my little wagon, I'm just taking some little greenery, kind of putting it all together. I'm going to put a little rubber band around it to hold it together. And I'm going to finish it off with a jute ribbon, tying it around the bottom and tying it into a bow. And then I'm just going to stick this right through the center of those 2 sticks and glue that into the back. Just kind of line it up like that and then just glue it in. Alright, and that was pretty much it. That was pretty easy. Look how pretty that turned out. Let me know what you think in the comments. This next one, I'm going to show you how to make some flowers out of pipe cleaners. That's just a 12-inch pipe cleaner, and this is about a 1/8 inch barbecue skewer. And you're going to start right down at the bottom, hold your thumb on about a 1/2 inch, and then just start rolling it around it. And then when you get down a little bit farther, you can just push it all the way up, and then continue till you have your pipe cleaner completely done with about a 1/2 inch tail on the end. And then you're going to do 2 of those. And you want to squish them up together so they're about the same size when they do come off the skewer. Okay, once you get them off, you're going to take the ends together, hold the bottom ends together, and then you are going to stretch these to 7 inches in length. And you're just stretching them together. Fold those over to find your center point, and then just do a twist in the center, and then fold those 2 legs down. And then you're going to take the very tip and just give it a little bit of twist at the very top. Just a little one. Then at the bottom where you have your 4 legs, you're going to take one of the little legs and wrap it around the other 3. Just one time around. And then you're going to open up your other 3 legs. And then we're going to take a floral wire. This is kind of a thicker floral wire. I'm just folding it in half to cut it because I'm going to make 2 flowers out of this one. And it ends up measuring 7 3/4 inches in length. Just kind of straighten out your bottom part there. And then we're going to take it and we're just going to stick it right down into the center of those 3 wires. And then I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue on it to hold all 3 legs straight up with it. I wouldn't skip this part because you want to make sure that this stays together. Next, we're going to take 2 green pipe cleaners and we're just going to fold them straight in half and then make a fine point at the end. So push that together really good and then you're just going to twist the 2 bottoms together. And then we're going to run it through our hand, through our thumb, like that, and then make a curl. And then do the same thing with the other one. So you're going to fold it, make a sharp point at the end, twist the bottom together, and then run it between your first finger and your thumb to give it a curve. To assemble these, we're just going to take some floral tape and we're going to wrap it around the little 3 legs that we just did on the bottom. So you're covering up the pipe cleaner at the bottom, and then we're going to come down about 2 inches and we're going to add our first leaf. So just kind of roll it along there, and then when you get about 2 inches down, we're going to bring our first leaf in. And just put it right there and then continue to wrap around it. Go down about maybe another 1/2 inch to 1 inch and you're going to add your second leaf. And you're going to put it on the opposite side. And then you're going to continue to wrap around the bottom of that one all the way till you get to the bottom of your floral wire. These go together really quickly. I made about 15 of them in about 18 minutes. I timed it. and then just cut that off. And I would hot glue that on there. I just wrapped it right there, but I did go back in and hot glue it. So there's one of your first flowers. Just bend the top part over and then make a bunch more because you'll want a bunch of them in your vase. Okay, for this next one, I'm using a large coffee can, and I'm going to cut the bottom out of it. And I'm just using a can opener that gives you a nice clean edge on the sides so you don't have any sharp edges. And I'll give you the link for that one in the description below. If there's no sharp edges, you can save that one for another craft project. Okay, next we're going to start bending it. And I just kind of put some pressure on it to start getting it a little bit crushed in the center here. You're not going to get it completely crushed by hand because that's going to be nearly impossible unless you're super strong. But you want to start getting it kind of bent in a little bit. And then to tighten it up even tighter, I'm going to take some of these clamps that we use for woodworking and just kind of start squeezing it in. You're not going to get it all the way unless you're super strong. But we're going to get it in as far as we can. And then we're going to take a vise and clamp it the rest of the way. And you could just sit here and do this for a while and get it pretty tight. But a vise is going to be what you're going to need to get it all the way shut. And if you don't have a vise, you could take a hammer, but put something between your hammer and this because you don't want to scar it up. But this got pretty tight right here just using the little clamps. And then to finish it off, I'm just going to put it in a vise. Now, if you don't have a vise, you can get these on Amazon. They make a smaller one, and you can get them as low as like $22. It's a good tool to have. And then you're just going to turn the wheel on it, and it just tightens it up. And we're just crushing the bottom. We're going to flatten it out till it's completely put together. You just want to get the two sides crushed real good. If you get those crushed, then it'll be flat. Okay, next, this is a little crocodile. It will cut through a hole through metal. I got out of screen when I did my first cut, but then you can finish it off with the drill, but it does go through metal. It's a great little tool. I'll give you the link for it, or you can just drill this out with a drill. And you want a hole on both sides so we can put a hanger on here. Okay, next I'm going to take it outside and I'm going to spray paint the inside and the outside. I'm going to paint it with chalk paint too, but this is a good primer just to start with, so you could use any color. You just want to give it a nice even coat. You only really need one coat. This will just prep it to use your chalk paint. Next, I'm just going to give it a nice coat of white chalk paint. And this probably took about one coat since I did spray paint it first. To distress it, I'm taking some Parisian gray paint and a chip brush, and I'm just going to brush it onto this. Now, a lot of you ask what a chip brush is. These are just brushes that are kind of have rough edges on it. You get them on Amazon, and you get like 100 of them in a box for like $9. And you can add as much or as little distressing as you want to. I'm just distressing mine a pretty good bit. Next, I'm going to decoupage it. I just got these napkins on Amazon. I'm just peeling the backing off of it. This actually ended up having two backings. I didn't realize it till I glued it, and you'll see that here in a little bit. But take the time to get both of the backings off if you have more than one. Just cut out the shapes that you want to use for your decoupage. Just take a little bit of time to kind of line it up so you know exactly where you're going to put it once you glue it. I'm just using a matte Mod Podge on the back of this, and this is where I figured out that I actually had another layer. If you just take your finger, dip it into the glue, and touch the back of it, you'll be able to pull that last backing off pretty easily. Now that I got that last layer off, I'm just Mod Podging the back of this. And then I'm just going to place it right onto my can, and you'll get all the little grooves in there as well. But just once you line it up, and then I'm going to get some cellophane, put it over the top of it to kind of smooth the rest of it out. And the cellophane helps you to keep from tearing your paper. So just kind of put it on there and then rub it, and you won't be tearing your paper. This works really good for decoupage. And then I'm going to place my other one right next to it, and I'm going to do the same thing with the cellophane to smooth it out. That's dried. I'm going to add another coat of Mod Podge right over the top. This will kind of seal it in and protect it. To be able to hang this, I'm going to take some jute rope. I'm going to come through the side of my container. I'm going to tie a knot off, and then just figure out how long you want your container to be, and then pull the other rope through the other side and tie a knot off on the inside as well. And the length is going to determine how much stuff you want to put in it or how tall of an item you put in it. For my floral foam, I'm going to use a pool noodle. I'm just going to cut a length of it and I'm going to glue it down into the bottom. Then I'm going to put a couple more pieces in there too to kind of build it up. I'm going to cut that one in half just to put on each side of that other noodle. And then I'm just going to glue these in with some hot glue. Pool noodles work really good for floral foam. And it's not messy like floral foam is too, so I do like using it. To cover my noodle, I'm just taking some little moss. This is some green moss I got at Michael's, and I'm just putting it right down into the bottom. I'm not gluing it in, I'm just sticking it in there. And then this is how I'm going to use those purple flowers I just made, and I am having to cut about 1 inch off the bottom of those. So if you are doing the same one, when you do your wires, just cut them at about 6.5 inches. And I would face all of them the same way and roll down the front part of them so that they curl. And these little flowers really don't take that long to make. I mean, I did make quite a few of them pretty quickly. And if you like these kind of videos with the flowers made of pipe cleaner, let me know. I have several more that I could do as well if you're interested in those. Just let me know in the comments. And this was pretty simple. I think this really turned out pretty. For this next one, I'm going to use some of the 5-gallon stir sticks, and I'm going to use 5 of them on the bottom as the base. And I'm going to cut these off at 14 inches in length, all 5 of them. And I'm just using a miter saw to do this. If you're looking for an inexpensive miter saw, I'll link this one below. This one was $1.99, but it does everything that a big saw will do. And you're going to cut all of your pieces exactly the same size. I'm going to line up my boards. I'm going to take another one of the boards and mark it on the side, and I'm going to cut 2 of these exactly the same length. And one's going to go on the top and one's going to go on the bottom. Assemble these. I'm just going to take some wood glue, run it down the side, and I'm just going to glue all these together. Now, I'm not going to clamp this because I am putting the 2 boards on top, and that's going to hold it together as well. Just kind of doing these kind of roughly, just kind of glue them all the way across till you have all 5 of them glued together. Then we'll put the top and the bottom on. Just kind of line them up good. And then be sure to wipe off your excess glue that's oozing out. Take time to do this part. And then we're going to glue the top part and the bottom part just across the face. And we're coming up about 1 inch from the bottom and 1 inch from the top. And then just make sure that your boards are straight. And then set that aside and let that dry real well. And then I'm going to take some sandpaper and kind of sand between the boards just to make sure I got all the glue off. Okay, then I'm taking a water-based stain and I'm going to stain the entire thing. And I'm going to stain the front and the back. Okay, then I'm going to tape off the 2 bars going across because I don't want them painted as much as I want the rest of it. So I'm just using some painter's tape to kind of cover those up. And then I'm going to come in with some white chalk paint and I'm going to distress this. I'm going to paint it pretty good, give it a good whitewash. And then I'm going to come back in and put a little bit more just to kind of distress it up a little bit more. And then I'm spritzing it with water just to kind of make sure that I do get it even. And then I'm just coming in with a rag and kind of smoothing it all out. And then after I get all the white on there, I'm going to come back in with a little bit more white and kind of distress it up a little bit. And then I'm going to take the paint off of my 2 bars going sideways, and then I will distress those just a little bit with the chip brush. And next I'm taking these little furniture dots. These go like onto the bottom of a chair. I'm using 12 of these and I'm going to paint them some metallic paint in an espresso color, a rose gold color, and black. I'm just trying to make these look like they're rusty. After they've dried, I'm just going to place them, 6 of them on each side. Just kind of space them out evenly. And they have adhesive already onto the back of them, so you do not have to glue these. And I'll give you the link for these in the description below. You're going to do the opposite side exactly the same way, kind of mirroring the other side. Okay, next I'm going to take 1.5 inch ribbon. I'm just using this orange and white ribbon, and I'm just going to make a carrot shape. I'm just kind of going down and then gradually moving inward as I get towards the bottom. And this is a wired ribbon. For the top part of the carrot, I got this greenery from Hobby Lobby. You can use any kind of greenery you want, but you want like a cluster of it. And I'm just going to attach it with a rubber band just to hold it all together. Then starting at the top of your ribbon, you're just going to start gluing it in. Just go straight across, put a little bit of glue up there, and then start gradually gluing it in as it goes down. You don't have to put a lot of glue, just a couple little dots here and there will be perfect because you want the ribbon to kind of stand up a little bit. And then just attach your greenery right into the top and open it up, and then we're going to just glue that in. You want to put quite a bit of glue to hold it in place. And then we're just going to finish it off with a little bow right on top. This one was a pretty easy one. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video today. I hope it gave you some inspiration. If you like these kind of videos, be sure and give me a like, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified when I have a new video upload. Thank y'all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if nobody's told you today, you're awesome. See you next time. Thanks for watching.